There's a shoebox in my closet. I haven't opened it in years, but I know exactly what's inside. 3 letters, handwritten, folded carefully, never sent. One was for a boy I met in college back in 1968. Another for my father, written the night before his funeral. The third? For someone I worked with for 15 years and never told how much they meant to me. I'm not alone in this. Across America, in quiet homes from Maine to California, seniors like us are holding on to words we never spoke, love we never expressed, feelings locked away in drawers, journals, and faded envelopes. Today I want to talk about something we rarely discuss, the wisdom hidden in unsent letters, the regret of unexpressed love, and the question that haunts so many of us, what if I had just said it? Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 72 now, living in a small town in Ohio. When I spoke with her last month, she told me about a letter she wrote in 1974. She was 20 years old, working at a diner near the University of Cincinnati. There was a regular customer, a graduate student named David, who came in every Thursday for coffee and pie. They talked, not about anything profound, just life. He'd tell her about his research. She'd tell him about her dreams of becoming a teacher. For 6 months, every Thursday, they had this ritual. Margaret wrote him a letter one night after her shift. She told him she looked forward to Thursdays, that his kindness made her week brighter, that she wondered if maybe, just maybe, he felt the same way. She never gave it to him. The following Thursday, he didn't come in, or the next week. She found out later he'd graduated and moved to Boston. She kept that letter in her dresser drawer for 48 years. I tell myself it wouldn't have changed anything, Margaret said to me, her voice soft. But the truth is, I'll never know. And that's the part that stays with you. Why do we do this? Why do we write the words but never speak them? For Margaret, it was fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of looking foolish. Fear that her feelings were bigger than they should be for someone she barely knew. But here's what I've learned after 7 decades of living. Unexpressed love doesn't just disappear. It doesn't fade quietly. It lingers. It becomes a what if that follows you through the years, showing up at unexpected moments. When you're folding laundry, or driving to the grocery store, or lying awake at 2 a.m. I think about my own father a lot these days. He was a mechanic in Detroit, worked long hours, came home tired, rarely talked about feelings. That was just how men were in the 1960s and 70s, at least in our neighborhood. You showed love through actions, not words. The night before his funeral in 1999, I sat at my kitchen table and wrote him a letter. I told him things I'd never said out loud, that I was proud to be his daughter, that I understood, now that I was older, how hard he'd worked for us, that I wished I'd asked him more questions about his life, his dreams, his disappointments. I folded that letter and put it in my purse. I thought maybe I'd read it at the service. I didn't. 27 years later, it's still in that shoebox. Why didn't I read it? I've asked myself that question 1,000 times. Part of me worried about crying in front of everyone. Part of me thought it was too personal, too raw. Part of me just froze. But here's the truth I've come to understand. My father never heard those words. And I can't get that back. We tell ourselves there will be more time. We think, I'll say it next visit, or they probably already know. We assume love is understood, implied, obvious, but is it? I've talked to dozens of seniors over the past year for this reflection, and the same theme emerges again and again. I wish I had said it clearly. I wish I had been specific. I wish they had known. Not just I love you, Nan, though that matters too, but the details. I admired your strength when Mom was sick. You made me feel seen when I was invisible to everyone else. That Tuesday in May when you sat with me for 3 hours, that changed my life. These are the sentences we think but don't say. These are the letters we write but don't send. Robert is 68. He lives in a retirement community in Arizona now, but he grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. When he was 25, he had a best friend named Tom. They'd known each other since elementary school, played baseball together, double dated in high school, stood up in each other's weddings. In 1982, Tom's marriage fell apart. He lost his job, started drinking. Robert tried to help, but Tom kept pushing him away. One night, after a particularly difficult conversation, Robert went home and wrote Tom a letter. He told him he wasn't giving up on their friendship, that he saw Tom's pain and wanted to help carry it, that he believed Tom could rebuild his life, that their friendship meant everything to him. Robert put the letter in an envelope, addressed it, put a stamp on it. It's still sitting in his desk drawer. I told myself I'd give it to him in person, Robert said when we spoke. That felt more meaningful than a letter. But every time I saw him, he seemed angry or distant. I kept waiting for the right moment. Tom died in 1991. Heart attack. He was 43 years old. Robert never sent the letter. I think about it every time I hear his favorite song on the radio, Robert told me. Every time I pass the baseball field where we used to play. I think about how maybe, just maybe, if he'd known how much I valued him, how much I believed in him, it might have made a difference. This is the weight we carry, not certainty, but possibility, the haunting question of whether our unexpressed words could have changed something, healed something, saved something. We can't know, and that's precisely what makes it so heavy. But here's where the story shifts. I want to tell you about Helen. She's 74, lives in North Carolina, and she has a different perspective on unexpressed love. Helen wrote a letter to her college roommate in 1975. They'd been close for 4 years, then drifted apart after graduation. Helen wanted to tell her how much their friendship had meant, how her roommate had helped her through her mother's death, how she'd given Helen the courage to pursue teaching instead of the safer career her family wanted. Helen kept that letter in her desk for 30 years. Then, in 2005, she found her old roommate on Facebook. They reconnected, started emailing. Eventually, Helen mentioned the letter. "Send it to me," her friend said. Helen did. And her friend called her, crying, to say that she'd been going through a difficult divorce and questioning whether her life had mattered to anyone. That letter arrived at exactly the moment she needed it. "I realized something," Helen told me. "The letter wasn't wasted just because I didn't send it right away. The feelings were real. The love was real. And when I finally expressed it, it still had power." This is what I've learned from talking to people like Helen and from my own 7 decades of living. Unexpressed love teaches us something crucial about ourselves and about what matters. It teaches us that we are capable of deep feeling even when we don't show it. It teaches us that connection is fragile and precious. It teaches us that time doesn't wait for us to be ready. And if we're paying attention, it teaches us to change, to be braver the next time, to say the words while we still can. Here, in January 2026, I look at my shoebox differently than I did 10 years ago. Those letters, to the boy from college, to my father, to my colleague, they're not failures anymore. They're teachers. The letter to my father taught me to tell my own children, regularly and specifically, what they mean to me. I don't assume they know. I tell them. The letter to my colleague taught me to express appreciation while people are still here to hear it. Now, when someone makes a difference in my life, I tell them that week, not years later. The letter to that boy from college, that one taught me that love, even unexpressed, even unrequited, even brief, it still mattered. It shaped me. It taught me what I was capable of feeling. I'm not suggesting we all need to rush out and mail 40-year-old letters. Some moments have passed. Some relationships have ended. Some people are no longer here. But what I am suggesting is this. We can learn from what we didn't say and choose differently going forward. We can write the thank you note we've been putting off. We can call the friend we've been thinking about. We can tell our children, our grandchildren, our neighbors, the cashier who always remembers our name. We can tell them they matter. The hardest truth I've had to face is this. My father died never hearing, in my own clear words, how much I admired him. How much his quiet strength shaped me. I can't change that, but I can honor him by not making the same mistake with the people who are still here. Every unsent letter is a mirror. It shows us what we value, what we fear, what we regret. And if we're brave enough to look at that reflection, it shows us what we need to do differently. The letters in my shoebox will stay there. But the lesson they taught me, that goes everywhere with me now. So I want to ask you something. Is there a letter you never sent? Words you never spoke? Someone you've been meaning to reach out to? You don't have to write a grand confession. You don't have to bare your soul. Sometimes all it takes is, I've been thinking about you, or you made a difference in my life, or thank you. These unsent letters, these unexpressed feelings, they're not just our regrets. They're our teachers. They're showing us what matters, who matters. And the beautiful, terrifying truth is, it's not too late. Not for all of them. Not yet. The people in your life right now, your children, your friends, your neighbors, the person who brings your mail, they're here. And you have time. Not unlimited time. None of us do. But enough. Enough to say what needs saying. Enough to express what needs expressing. The wisdom of unsent letters isn't just about what we didn't do. It's about what we can still do. So maybe today or this week, think about who needs to hear from you. And then tell them, not someday, not when the moment is perfect, now, while you still can. Because the only thing heavier than an unsent letter is the regret of waiting until it's truly too late. If this touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so we can continue these conversations together.